Good morning. Good morning, sweethearts. It's Friday morning, and I'm glad you made it. You made it to the mat, and taking time to practice. And we're going to start just right away. If you want to just be seated, and part of just right away at the beginning of our practice, it's good to have. Just take a moment to stop. So I call this, we start by stopping, by knowing like I'm taking a break. I'm really putting everything down. So why don't we go ahead and take just a few deep breaths, maybe close your eyes. And just the most basic way, we all know that instruction, like take a breath. But it's really wise to take at least 3 of these. It's like the one is just that little taste of letting go. Notice how you feel today. Start to look inward. Being clear, like I'm stopping. I'm going to put everything down. Letting go of all the distractions. Moving awareness into the body, just real physical kind of gut feeling. Like how do you feel today? Physically, how do you feel, emotionally, and really understand, like I'm going to take this time. Move my awareness right into the present. So last week, I talked a little bit about getting to know your nervous system. And very naturally, we'll continue with that and some of the practices of how we do this. So the first thing we maybe understand is just how really collectively, we're all affected by this kind of vibration around us. We all have this kind of threat looming called the coronavirus. I was listening to Shelley's talk on Wednesday, and she referred to it as Ajahn coronavirus. The title Ajahn is really a term, used. It basically just means teacher. So this is our great teacher. We could, as we welcome in everything that's present and going on, there's our teacher. And even recognize right now, like all of the teachers that you've had. And how everyone really is our teacher. Can we learn is the question. So part of what coronavirus teaches us is about the unknown. Like, I'm learning about the unknown and how typical it is for us to be able to go to the internet and look up whatever we want to look up, right there. It's like, I want to know this. And so we could type it in and, there's the knowledge. And boy, have we gotten conditioned around this in the past decade or so of there it is right at our fingertips. And now we're just all kind of swimming in this unknown, and it can really lead to tension. I want to know. And you might have found yourself actually looking on the internet. I want to know everything about the coronavirus. So, can we just put that down, not go down that rabbit hole right now? So, as we practice, it's a knowing practice. I'm bringing my awareness to my body. So, go ahead. You're just going to start to move your head a little bit, just side to side. And as you start to move your head, be aware like, oh, I'm going to sit upright a little bit more. Maybe do not only side to side with your head, but let the head drop down, then roll to one side. And just let this just really loose and fluid, like you're bringing in a fluidity. Deeper breath. And every movement or pose we're doing, let's practice moving right into the present. Because doing yoga can actually trigger the mind moving into the past. It can trigger the mind moving into the future. So that's what mindfulness does, is it notices like, wow, I'm really fantasizing about the future. Oh, I can't wait until maybe I could go back to common ground or go to the yoga studio and practice. And so, no, we let that go. We move right into the present. And even see what a gift it is to practice in your own home. Now, go ahead and pause and just sit upright. We'll do one little move of a twist. So when we twist, we really lift up through the spine. You're going to take a little teeny twist to your right, just small. So there's like lots of space. You're almost getting taller. Lift the chest, take a little twist to the other side. Drink in the breath through your nose. And then just do a little back and forth. Feel a lifting up through the crown of your head. Keeping the shoulders down. You could use your arms, your hands might help you a little bit. Good. And let's just bring the arms up. Just reach way up. And we'll do that kind of fluid side to side where you just drop one arm down, you just reach up and over, and then you go to the other side. Now, as you're doing this one, you might close your eyes and move your jaw. Get that, and even some sound, like a little sigh as you go back and forth. Deeper breath. So part of our practice of then having an effect on our actual nervous system is to consciously breathe. So really feel these waves of breath, drinking in what in yoga we call prana. This delicious life force that you start to draw into your whole body. Good. Now, as you let this go, the arms come down. You're going to let go of your seated pose. Let's go ahead and recline on the backside. And part of laying on the backside is actually a chest opener. So when you lay back, I'm going to move with you. Bend your knees. Just keep your feet on the mat. And reach your arms out to the side. So way out to the side. And feel your shoulder blades nice and grounded, the space around your throat, your brain, your chest. And then go ahead and reach the legs up. Just let the legs go upside down. Make sure you actually feel pressure or weight on your sacrum here. So in other words, try not to lift your butt up away from the floor here. Keep the spine long. Move your feet around. Move your toes around. Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose. Feel. I'm moving my awareness into my body, not getting caught in that kind of the web of the thoughts. Swirl the feet around. Note that I could feel my throat is really soft. Now go ahead and bring the feet down. Take the soles of the feet together and let the knees start to drop out to the side here while you reach your arms up above your head. When you reach your arms up, you could keep your palms facing up. And just breathe. Feel the sides of the body lengthen, keeping the throat open. And then bring the knees up, reach the legs up into the air, and reach up to your shins. Actually, take your hands to your shins and move to this deep hip flexion. Lift your head, lift your butt away from the floor now, and bring your forehead towards your shins. Just pulling together. Extend the legs really long, and then just let this go. Just drop feet down to the floor. Reach the arms up above the head. Soles of the feet together again. Knees drop out to the side. Lots of space in your chest. Keep the sides of the neck really long here. And then do this again. Just reach the legs up, reach up, grabbing your legs anywhere, and lift up. Even lift your sacrum up. Lift your shoulder blades away from the floor. Nice big breath. And then as you let this go, feet drop down, head down. Now just keep your arms down here. Reposition, maybe tuck your shoulders under. And then just do the pelvic tilt. So contract around your navel and pull your navel in. And then go ahead and arch your lower back. And then pull your navel in. And then arch your lower back. Even your whole spine might lift up a little bit away from the floor here. Now, next time you contract down, actually let a little audible sigh come out, like, and then when you inhale, just drink in through your nose. Back and forth. Keep doing this in your own way. Intentionally, try not to overthink, let this, or notice if this triggers thinking, and move into the practice of feeling and listening to your just your sigh. Next time you exhale, you pull your navel down, you really push into your feet, you move up to a little teeny bridge pose. You draw your tailbone up, up, up. Little lift of your breastbone, but really keep your throat soft here. And then just roll down. Take your arms out to the side again. Bring your knees into your chest slightly, but legs stay together. Let's twist. Let's drop the knees a little to your right. And then they go up and over a little bit to your left. And then to your right. Really smooth and playful here. making sure that you don't suddenly tense up your throat. So you could, like when you inhale, you bring your knees up to center. And then you exhale, the knees go a little to the side. You inhale back up to center. Legs a little to the side. You just go back and forth. Now, please keep your arms and your shoulders really grounded down here as you do this. Back and forth. So your breath, it's like each breath is like a purifying and cleansing force that moves through the body, through the mind. Good. Roll all the way to one side, come all the way up, move to all fours. And then go ahead and just take your cat and cow here. Round your back, push into your hands, push into your shins, grounding as you're pulling your navel right up. And then untuck the tailbone, reach the chest forward. There is a pull through the spine here. Now breathe through your nose as you go back and forth. Really squeeze out that exhale. Back and forth. Really take note here. What do you sense? Do you feel that your face is soft as you do this? What do you feel in your belly? Can you sense that you're straightening and working the arms? So finer and finer and finer awareness. Sometimes it's like internally, the body, it's like an ice cube that's gradually melting as we are practicing. Good. We're going to move to a little bit of a down dog, but actually as you lift up to your down dog, you're going to step your feet back a little bit, and then let this just go right towards a plank pose. And then you go right back to down dog. Adjust your hands, your feet, so that you just go back and forth in a way that feels like just right for your first little fluid movement back and forth. So another aspect of affecting our nervous system is to bring in that half smile. So especially as we've started to melt the inner ice cube a little bit, you might feel that prana is moving, and we can bring in that little bit of a smile. Now bring yourself to standing. Walk the feet forward. Come all the way up. As you come up, now this next action that we're going to wake up is through your feet and ankles. And you could choose to do this movement at a wall if you want to, or you can practice it free form on your mat. So this is just the action where you lift your heels up and then you lower your heels. So you might notice, as if you want to watch me, that when I lift up and lower, I'm lifting straight up, that I'm not lifting up here and letting this kind of like, whoa, like bow my ankles out to the side. So I'm putting forth that effort So lift straight up and lower down. Lift straight up. And then as you keep doing this, you really start to move it up through your whole body. Lifting, sometimes I imagine like a zipper, like my legs kind of zip up right through the inner edges of the legs, so that when I lift up, I can't like, whoop, like unzip. You know how zippers will do that, like, oh, around one little loose link there. I know for myself, like my ankles are kind of loose. They're very flexible. So they can like, oh, open up there. Another way of doing this is at a wall. If you want that little touch of a wall to help keep you really steady, sometimes when you use a wall too, you could lift your heels and really stay there and just get that feeling, like I am really bringing this up through my whole body. Even as you do this, lift the chest. Get that lift up through the spine. Make sure your throat is soft. You're not like clamping your throat down. Good. Let's let that go. And then just move into a little bit of a marching here. So this marching, we're going to do the one where it's a big action. It's also with your arms. So we're going to sweep the arms up and lift one knee and then come down. Lift up, down. Lifting, lifting. And then with the breath, you inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Through your nose. Feel your feet. You know, we just warmed up all that strength through your feet and your ankles. So that bottom straight leg, make sure you're not like collapsing down here. You're very firm through the standing leg. Whoa. Strength through your back. Can you feel that bottom foot like really grounding down? The soles of your feet stay very open the whole time. Good. Pause. And then just take your feet a little bit wider apart here and just take a kind of a twisting action where you just take the chest to one side, one side, one side, back and forth. It's okay if like one heel lifts a little bit. The arms will swing, but here you're not lifting your arms. This is a rotation of your shoulders. And that this is comfortable through all of your joints. Get into kind of the agitation of this, where you can feel through your abdomen, this, even your chest and your lungs, this twisting, twisting back and forth. And then the breath kind of sweeps through. So just sensing that you're breathing really deeply into the body here. The head is really balanced, lifting up. Really good. This repetition of this twisting through your spine. Good. Pause as you let this go. Let's just roll through a couple sun salutations, but I am going to add in just some kind of playful little repetition. So come towards the front of your mat, take palms together. So we're going to do just a few in the beginning of this practice of sometimes called a half sun salutation. You reach your arms up. Nice and tall, lifting up here. Start to reach your arms out to the side and doing that kind of swan dive where you stay really wide across your chest as you hinge in your hips and you go all the way over, folding, folding, folding. Briefly, just legs are straight, drop your head, but then you lift up to a flat back. Now, as you do this, you might have to slide your hands up, fingers up your legs a little bit to really feel the spine pull in. And then you go all the way over. And then you lift up again. Now make sure you don't lift your chin too much. This will crunch the back of your neck. All the way over. So can you lift up to flat back and just keep the head really aligned here, all the way over. One more, lifting up. Flat back, legs really work here. All the way over. Step back to your down dog. Even take your feet further back, like a little further back than you typically do. So this is going to widen and open the angle in your hips. Rather than like a shorter, acute angle, you go maybe from a right angle in your hips to an obtuse angle. Finally, my math degree pays off. Slowly to your plank pose, like you're studying by feeling, not so much the overthinking with words, but feeling your plank pose. What does your plank pose feel like today? Which variation are you doing that feels appropriate? Little half smile. And then lightly touch the knees down. Stay here in this half plank or knee down plank. Really draw your tailbone in. And then lift your chest a little bit. And then lower down to the floor. Cobra pose. In your Cobra pose, take your fingers way out to the sides. Lightly touch your fingers down. And move your shoulder blades here. Slide them forward, slide them back. Forward, back. Do one at a time. Rolling around. And then shoulders back. You lift up to your Cobra pose and really take your hands wherever feels right as they press on the mat. It's almost like your elbows fold in to the sides of your body, like your arms kind of disappear. Ground your pubic bone. And as you start to slowly lower here, take your hands forward, stack the hands, and just take your forehead right on your hands. And then lengthen and lift your right leg. Really use your right glutes here, your right buttock. Lower the leg. And then engage the left glutes and then lift the left leg. Lower the left leg and do this back and forth. while breathing. Get a sense you are lifting your legs straight up. And even though you're really using your glutes, you're not rotating the leg a lot. And you might feel this on the tops of your feet. Like when you lift and lower your leg, you land right on the top of the foot. You haven't rotated your feet. There's the action of keeping your legs straight as you're lifting it. And as we let go, we'll slide the hands back. Toes now tuck under. You lift right up to your down dog. Let's take that longer down dog again. So when you're in this longer dog, it's like a lot more distance between your hands and your hips. Your hips suddenly go way back. Length through your spine here. With this longer dog, you might lift your heels higher. Get a sense of the back of your spine. They're not curving. Now take your feet a little closer together and just lift that right leg way up. Start to lift your navel up and then step the right foot forward. So, that back foot down and move right to a warrior one. Drops down. As you lift up here, the right knee stays bent. Now you might lift your toes, move your feet a little bit. Ground the back heel. Push that heel down and then lift and open to your warrior one. Lift that right at the floor of the pelvis. Lifts up. So if you really lift that pelvic floor, you might feel like you want to bend the back knee. So this is that dual action where you straighten the back leg and lift around your navel, pelvic floor. Start to reach the arms out to the side, lean forward, knowing you're going to move into tree pose. So shift weight onto the right leg. Gradually, playfully move into your tree. Notice the alignment of your bones. Like now there's this kind of stacking. Again, a wise move would be to keep your left toes down for a moment. No matter how strong and stable this pose is, it can be good to use that even just briefly. So you can deeply sense that you're present. And then let the body really decide what variation to move in. So deep sense your body is now your teacher. We let go of verbal instructions and more of just this internal sense. What really leads to stillness. Feel the whole body now as you're breathing, feeling. Now as you reach the arms out to the side, you step your left foot back again. So both legs are straight And just lift the arms up into Stargazer pose. Firm the legs, lift up to the legs. So this is good to feel these lines of energy that you're pulling up through the legs, and it goes right up through the spine. So there's this energy flow just through the hips, straight up there through that lift of the pelvic floor. You might look up here, as long as that like really opens up your breath. And then look forward. Now, as you move to your warrior two, you're going to open your left foot a little bit. And then rotate your shoulders to the left, bend the right knee, step a little wide here. Reach the arms. So this really liberates the chest, the throat, grounding your feet. Ground the base of your big toes, ground your heels. Really even pressing through your feet. Look to the right. Free breath here. There's that lift of the pelvic floor. Again, as you do that, make sure your left knee doesn't bend. So feel that dual action, the straightening left leg, lift of the pelvic floor. Briefly look to the left. So you could sense all that space through your neck, and that you're not forcing this. And then look to the right. Keep lifting up to the spine, grounding your feet. Lots of space through throat and mouth. The spontaneous smile. So arms come down to the front of your mat, you move back to your down dog. From your downward facing dog, doing like as slow motion as possible from your plank to your down dog. Do this with great focus. How do you know that you're present? How do you know that you're free of tension? So the whole time there's this sense of both being grounded and lightness, kind of a buoyancy. Takes a lot of wholehearted, full body presence. Notice how elbows and knees stay straight. And this is just that very fluid movement in your hip joints and your shoulder joints. So deeply therapeutic for those large joints. Next time you're in your downward facing dog, left leg is going to lift way up. Lift your right heel way up. Now lift your navel as you step that left foot forward. And then here, if we're going to move right to warrior one, the back right foot drops down. And then as you lift up here, it's good to adjust your feet. So you can really straighten that back leg. You start to lift up, grounded, stable. Noticing what you feel today here. Body is your teacher. Arms coming up. Breathe and feel. Breathing into the whole body. As you lift up through your spine, you're lifting that pelvic floor up, and you start to maybe look up. Actively straighten the back leg, lift the pelvic floor. Grounding, lifting. Now, as you reach your arms out to the side, lift the heart. Like, keep this buoyancy of your heart. But actually, really heavy also to stay grounded as you go to tree. There's that stepping forward. You might keep your right toes down, just a light toe touch, and establish, wake up that strength through your standing leg. It's good to bring in like all of your teachers. But ultimately, the body is going to bring you into the present and what feels right today. You might experiment with your kind of go-to pose. Well, I usually do tree pose like this. But to stay curious, like, well, is that working today? So much we can learn by being right in the present and honest and connected. Right foot steps back. And then as you land, you might adjust so that your shoulders now can rotate and you face the right. The back toes might open a little bit. But please make sure, left knee, you could, the knee, the toes going forward, and then you extend your arms. So really feel your way into this. Feet are grounding, straighten right leg, but lift the pelvic floor. Straight up. Align your throat. How does this feel? Can you keep inviting in, like every cell doing the pose? And then just briefly look to the right. But just that feeling in your actual neck vertebra. Look to the left. As your arms come down, you move back to your down dog. In your down, close your eyes. Slow motion to your plank pose. Breathing and feeling. And do this a few times, the down dog, plank, down dog, plank. And I like to do this so we really can cultivate just a calm, focused state. The mind really is not turning the body into a problem. Especially if this is really hard, if this feels hard. Sometimes we get that sense like, well, this shouldn't feel this. I'm really too weak. I need to do more yoga. This is hard. We're here because it's work. It always will be work. We might think like if I practice enough, this will all be easy. Good. Now go ahead and just touch your knees down, just lightly. As the knees come down, you're right onto all fours. So the hands are under your shoulders. Knees, you're actually going to take together, light touch. Let's do our balance pose of what I call the quarter moon pose, where you'll start by taking your, let's take the right foot a little bit out, reach your left leg back, way back. And as it reaches back, allow the left hip to open because you're going to gradually open, open, open to your left, reaching that left arm up. And then feel this nice and steady, grounding, breathing. I really like the head position of this pose. Move your jaw a little bit here. Even do a little sounding. Nice big sigh. A little bit of a pulsation. Lift that back heel, that left heel, and then lower it. And then lift it. Lower it. As you're doing this, lift your pelvic floor. Make sure you're engaging around your waistband. That sigh, make sure you're not like just holding your breath here. Good. Release hand down and then knee down. Briefly back to a child pose. If it's okay, keep the knees together as you do this. Breathing, just kind of melting into this, gradual. And then you come back up, you prepare for the other side. So arms are straight, that left foot goes out to your left. Just a little bit. Right leg starts to reach back. Really strong as you reach through your back heel. Right away, you could draw your navel in as you open up here to stabilize through your pelvis. Reaching up. So it's good to get a sense of being grounded and stable. The little lift of the back heel, a little lift and lower. This is really just a couple inches. Navel in as you engage. Throat is soft, maybe that sigh. The top hand comes down, knee comes down. In child pose, keep knees closer together, just sitting back. But please do any variation. This is where it's important that your body is the great teacher. If I say keep your knees together, you might say, no, my body take your knees apart. And then as you come up, we will take knees together. Now, this may or may not work for you. You're going to sit back onto your heels with the hands just right on the legs here. We'll take we'll take 3 rounds of lion pose. So speaking of throat and that cleansing that we need to release any tension through this very sensitive area. So lion pose is where we take that nice deep inhale. I'll just do 3 of these with a little break in between. So big inhale, and then you do 2 things. You're going to stick out your tongue And the eyes actually softly look up towards the space between your eyebrows or your forehead. Don't strain that. And then you release with a ha, like any sound, any vibration that just falls out. So big inhale. Pause, just breathe, maybe swallow. Inhale. Swallow. Sometimes if this is really moving and cleansing your throat, you might feel like you want to clear your throat. So and then moving out again. Noticing that inversion, so like through the throat, through your brain, tank, and any way onto the floor, onto your belly. And then this time we'll just do a little repetition here where you can keep your hands folded in or fingers out to the side here. Lift head and both legs. Really long. Bend back through your toes and then reach the heart forward. You're dropping your head and lift up appropriately, like right up through the crown of your head. And then as you lower down here, lower, but don't lower all the way. Like you're just gonna hover a little bit. And then you lift up. Breathing, you lower down. You lift up. Lower down. Close your eyes and just play with the lifting and lowering here. Really a little smile here. For most everyone, this is a lot of work. The back of the body is usually underused. I've heard from people lately, a lot of people spending a lot of time sitting in Zoom meetings. So this is a wonderful counter pose. In fact, on your next one, really reach your arms back. Doing a couple more with the strength through your arms. Good. And then back to your down dog. That counter pose, exploring, naturally into it. Reach your heels down. Move deep into that calf stretch as you untuck your tailbone. Look directly back to your feet. You extend the back of your neck. Good. And then step forward. Come all the way up to your standing pose. Into some big sun breaths. Inhale up. Exhale, go all the way over. Your inhale, you come up. You exhale over. Keep doing this, and on that exhale, ah, ah, ah. Good. Next time you're up, you stay up. Arms come down. Pause. So we're going to do one last little balance and twist. So this is a good one that if you want to use a wall, in fact, we could I know I'm assuming that you have a little touchable wall around you somewhere, or even a chair could do, if you have a chair right next to you that you could touch. So you'll be taking your, let's just say right hand is going to touch the wall. I'm going to get kind of close to my wall here. And then I'm going to balance on my left leg. I'm going to lift the right knee up. And just pause. Notice like you're not lifting your shoulders. Straight and get as tall as you can. You're rotating towards the wall. You can reach your left hand across and hold that right thigh up. And twisting, breathing, get taller. If you want to, you could reach your right arm back, not using the wall. But feel the right hip rolling forward rather than rolling back and opening up. Untwist, leg comes down. Good. Switch. Tall mountain pose. Left knee lifts up. Straight, like lift, even that navel lifting up here. And as you twist towards the left, right hand comes across. So your hip bones really point forward as it's the spine that's twisting. Twisting. Taller. Keep a little touch with your left fingers or reach the left arm back. Make sure you don't turn this into some kind of contest. Rather, breathe and connect. Good. Let go of the twist. Both feet come down. And then finally, if you want to come back to your mat, this is a good one just to play back and forth. So that if I had my right hand touching, I would lift my right knee up. I'm going to balance. And then just twist and open. Maybe just a little bit. Just to play, okay, here I can balance. And I'm just going to let it go. And then go to the other side. As you go back and forth, keep the lightness around your heart. Of course, stay grounded. So there's a little bit of a twist. You might not really look back here. And then you just let go. When you let go, try not to just sink in your joints. Back and forth. Kind of fluid, breathy, and light. You might just stay looking forward as you do this. And that it's more of just your shoulders rotating. Your shoulders rotate, your hips do not. And with that lightness around your heart, you can actually feel space to breathe. And that's how you stay connected to your body in this present experience. Even if you notice things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how stiff I am, or I just feel creaky or weak, that's not a problem. Like, oh, I'm really glad I'm here and practicing. This is good. So that's where that smile comes in. It's because of the present connection. And then as you let that go, feet come down, and then rotate either direction so that you can take your feet wide apart. Not as wide as you possibly can, but just comfortable. Lift the chest in a slow motion, forward bend. So right away, attuning, like how does this feel? Gradually over, untuck the tailbone. Really feel that through the backs of your thighs, the hamstrings, and the tilt of your pelvis. Head dropping completely. And then just coming back up. Just push into your feet. Come all the way up. Step the feet together. Now, we're going to go into a similar pose that when you sit down onto the mat, you take your legs wide apart. This might feel really different than what you were just doing, even though it's really physically very similar. So we'll face the right leg. We'll just do that little massage where you press on the right leg. Reach, press on your leg. Even kind of squeeze, 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 squeeze as you reach all the way down. All the way up. Pressure. Reaching down that leg. As you're doing this, do a couple more times and start to kind of charge that left leg. As you go over, really reach through your left leg. Like just include the left leg. Go to the other side. So left leg, just press, reaching down. All the way up. Squeeze, squeezing, squeezing. Reaching. So make sure this other leg doesn't go to sleep. So we breathe and we feel the whole body here. Good. Now as you come up, you stay up, you lean back a little bit, legs together, and you're going to go onto your backside. We'll do a final just recline. Knees are bent. Arms can be right alongside you. The other variation is to bend your elbows and point your fingers up to the ceiling. And do not ground your elbows. Really ground your shoulders here, your upper arms. And then push into the feet. And as you lift your butt, pull your tailbone up into your body. And just explore the lifting up here. So as the tailbone lifts up, lift your middle spine and then your breastbone, keeping your shoulders really grounded. Make sure that your chin is light. You're not crushing your chin down. Roll down now. Close your eyes and connect with your breath. So breathe and feel breath moving through your nose, throat, windpipe, lungs as you lift and lower. So you can feel the whole body moving in and out of this. Your spine, your hips, your knees, wherever you are feeling this. Stay attentive. Explore, like, well, how high am I lifting? Like, do not lift as high as you physically can, unless you can do that with no strain. You explore that fullness. Just make sure throat is soft, eyeballs are soft, breath moving into the body. So you're really aware. I'm feeling my whole body. Just feel this lift, this low, no strain through your neck at all. And then next time you lower down, you pause. I always like to take our Shavasana Prep action, where you take your arms now just out to the sides. You just reach the arms out, and then the knees stay back. Move your feet much wider apart towards the edges of your mat. And then just lightly drop your knees to your right. And as you do that, if it makes sense to look to the left a little bit, this is a great one for just letting your body decide on the position here. The knees go up and over to the left, and your head might just roll to look to the right a little bit. But keep breathing through your nose as you go back and forth. Breathing and moving. Breathing and moving. Spine just fluid, loose. Throat stays really open. Good. Now take Shavasana. What's great about practicing at home is you could just keep things nearby, what you really like to use for your Shavasana. Your blankets, a little teeny cushion, a big bolster or something to drape your legs over. You just draw that right in. You move right into your Shavasana. Stay tuned into your bones, like how the bones feel, that you're able to drop your head. You're able to get the shoulder blades just right. Even if you could note, like if you were to keep a journal with the most intimate detail of what your Shavasana feels like today. Is our mindful practice. This is called self-compassion, where you're looking deep into the body. Now, as you move into stillness, just be aware of your breath. And the breath will move in a wave-like manner. So imagine, you could even bring in the image of waves. Just these gentle waves that hit the shore. It's a pretty common human condition that the mind does not like to slow down. Even if we sit and watch waves on the water, we might feel impatient. So we practice. Practice connecting to the body and actually feel the body sink. There's a sense of dropping and putting down completely. Feel the weight of the skin, as if your skin was draped over you like a heavy blanket. The mind is very bright. It's not sleepy or dull. So you can feel this letting go and the heaviness, the dropping little at a time. Imagine you're so close to the earth, letting the earth really hold you. Eyes soften. This is what it feels. Another world really opens up. This inner space. Be aware of your belly. Your throat, your chest. I'm going to share a poem with you by Martha Postlethwaite. The title is Clearing, or Do Anything Grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worth of rescue. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worth of rescue. So as you now start to move and let go of Shavasana, breathing, moving, and as you transition, as you start to move towards seated pose, clearing in this dense forest, and how we can keep this clearing with us. We can keep this spaciousness within us all day. So maybe if you're up, you're back to seated. If you want to take palms together in front of the heart, feel that energy around your spine, that connection, spine all the way to your brain. Soft throat and mouth. If you want to join in, we'll close with the sound of Om. Let's take a deep inhale. Om.